Welcome to another Business Spotlight, where we share reflections, insights, advice, and pearls of wisdom from local business owners. My name is Kerry James. I'm a business coach and a facilitator. And today we have Chief Exec of Sightor, Eli Hassell. Good afternoon and welcome to Business Spotlight, Eli.
Hi, Kerry.
So, Sightor, let's get stuck straight in. Please give us a bit of history. How long have you been involved in the business and what do you specialize in, please?
Okay, so we've been open for several years, and really what we specialize in is very simple. We grow businesses' social media accounts. That's it. I mean, we specialize in LinkedIn, and we specialize working with B2B companies, and we work a lot with property and finance companies, but that's what we do.
Okay, and property and finance, what might represent a really ideal client for you in terms of their culture or the challenges or the size of the business? What might drive that?
Well, I mean, I say property and finance, just that's how we've been working a lot more recently with those sort of companies. But generally, the sort of company is not big enough that you'd have a full on board social media manager. So usually we work with companies with like 5 to 10, 15 employees. So that's usually where we work between. Sometimes it's less. Like we're working with one or two people teams, but it's usually between 5 to 15 employees, and that's where they want to grow. They really want to grow. Then, I mean, a lot of companies want to grow, but they've got more of a budget to grow, but they just haven't really. Either they haven't really got the money to spend on a full person, or they don't want to. Usually, they don't want to spend. They don't want to. Because why do it if you don't need to?
Okay, absolutely. And in terms of the competition, then, Eli, it's clearly been a burgeoning area of business for the last, I guess 5 years or more. How do you say you compare and you differentiate yourself from your competitors?
No, so it's a good point. There are a lot of competition in social media, especially in marketing companies. It's actually quite funny. I did doing a documentary on other social media companies for our new email list that we're trying to push out. And on this documentary, what we did was we went undercover to one or two other marketing companies to show why a lot of marketing companies are liars. Don't worry, we blurred out the name of the company, the face, so we kept all anonymous. But there are a lot of marketing companies, and not a lot of them nobody trusts. To be honest, I don't trust most marketing companies myself either. So I don't really call myself, I don't really call Sightor a marketing company. It's more of a social media company, or really working together to grow your LinkedIn. So it's very, very specific. I've tried to look endlessly online for a company that specializes in LinkedIn. It doesn't do the whole all the whole lot of marketing, like copywriting, SEO, website, everything. If they just specialize on LinkedIn as we do, I haven't seen a single company that does that. So it is a bit different. If we do all of them, then we're kind of the same. But saying that we only specialize on LinkedIn, working with B2B companies in a very, very particular field, we've got a very small niche. It's a bit different.
Okay, so talk us through some of the challenges of keeping up with the LinkedIn algorithms. I mean, I started a newsletter about probably 2 months ago now, and I've been delighted with the uptake. I've got about over 1,000 subscribers now, and LinkedIn, it does tend to go through certain waves of supporting certain aspects of its service. What would you say are the key challenges there, either for yourself or on behalf of your clients?
I mean, I see a lot of people talking about the algorithm, about this, that, and about how you need to do this to fit the algorithm, or that to do the algorithm. I think it's a load of nonsense, really. It's mainly just, you just have to think on the other person's perspective. Is this post interesting? Do I like it? Will people press a see more button? Will they actually want to read the whole post? Does it give them, when they finish it, do they feel good? If yes, then LinkedIn will want to pass it around to more people. It's just basic. I mean, there are of course tips on how to get people to click the see more button. There's small points like that. But at the end of the day, is it interesting? Is it easy to read? Is it fun to read? Do they gain something from it? Then yes, and that's it really.
Okay, so that commentary was really about posts. What are your views about the other elements of LinkedIn, whether it's groups or newsletters or the carousels and the polls? Do you have strong views on what works well, or is it very much bespoke to each client?
I mean, you've got to tell me, how's the newsletters working for you?
Well, it's working very well for me. I guess.
So exactly.
Yeah. I guess my question is, might it have worked as well this time last year, or does it kind of go through waves of support from LinkedIn that seems to give more weight to certain elements of its service than others as time goes by?
So I personally don't use most of those features like newsletters or all these different things, but you see a lot of people using them. Let's say Richard Branson, I believe he's got a huge newsletter on LinkedIn. So it's just, like I said, it's bespoke. It's not really bespoke, but it just works differently for different people in different fields.
Okay, good stuff. So moving a little bit broader then, in terms of where you are with your business, what would you say are the main challenges you've got in terms of growing Sighthall?
That's an interesting one. I mean, I guess it's with all companies, what's the biggest challenge is getting new clients. That's usually, if they've got too many clients, then it's a bit of an interesting challenge. But I guess that's that is the challenge to really get more and more clients. So I mean, we're growing. We've grown quite a bit in the past year. But I don't really see it as like a challenge, but it's just that's what you need to do to get bigger. You need to get more clients.
And dare I ask, is LinkedIn the key way that you get new clients for your business?
In fact, it is, believe it or not. One of the main ways is LinkedIn. Yeah, we get quite a few from LinkedIn. What we do is from LinkedIn, either they contact me personally or we send them to our website. We've got a really nice website. We paid quite a lot for just like the copywriting of the one page. Cost us in the 4 figures just for the copywriting of one page, and we send them to the website, and hopefully they'll be convinced with that amazing copywriting to book a meeting and to come on board.
And you mentioned copywriting and different services, etc. What sort of size and shape is the team at the moment, and what would your aspirations be, would you say, over the next, say, 3 years?
So we've got 1 or 2 people on board, but what's the size? I mean, I don't really like looking at numbers like we're trying to hit this target with this target. Although, of course, we've all got ideas. This is what we want to do. This is where we want to hit. But I just look at it as just growing it and giving the best possible service, and which will really get it bigger and yeah. I guess I really should think of numbers, but that's not really how I look at it. I look at it more about just growing it as much as possible.
Okay.
Because also see the numbers as very limiting. Because if you say, let's say, I want to hit 2 million, then once all that numbers, all you're targeting for is 2 million. Now, if you say, I just want to hit really high, do the best to hit 5 million, but if you say just 2 million, you're just going to get them. That's going to be okay. That's it.
Okay, so I make it a much easier question. What's the size of the current team at the moment, then, Eli?
So yeah, like I said, we've got 1 or 2 people on board. It's part-time, so it's not okay. A huge business at all.
Okay, and you mentioned that when you started the business, if we moved on to your reflections on the key lessons you've learned as a business owner, what might they be, do you think, Eli?
I mean, that's a very good question. What lessons have I learned from this? I guess you learn quite a lot. I mean, it's a journey. You spend most of your life really on it. As long as you're really putting the time, you're spending most of your life on it. So I guess most of the way how I act or how I talk is things I've learned from running this business. But I guess one of the most, like, I'll give you an example. One of the most recent things I learned is how to socialize and how to trust people and trust members of the team, and how to give other people independence and all these different things, and how to work together. That's something I've learned from this, and I think that's something really powerful. So there's a lot of lessons. It's very hard to pinpoint one particularly. Maybe it's learning how to do finances, because that's of course crucial in your life. So I guess social might be the biggest one.
Okay, and where do you tend to get your learning inspiration from, would you say? Is it a reflection about yourself and lessons from your own experiences, or do you have kind of go-to authors or books that you like, or where do you tend to get your learning from, would you say?
You might not like this one, but I like reading Donald Trump's book.
Donald Trump's book?
Yeah, so it's a tiny bit egotistical, just a tad. He starts off the book by saying, I don't care about money. I just like making deals. So he says, I've got enough money, so I don't care about it. So it's just a tad egotistical, but it's very interesting. I've read it several times, and no matter whether you like him or you don't like him, because most people don't like him, and quite a lot of people do like him. You've got to admire his business instincts, because he did make a lot of money. He made billions, and he did do business well. So I really like that book. I've read it several times. But also, I guess I watch a lot. Do you know Stephen Bartlett's podcast?
I do. We have an annual conference at Action Coach, and it was at London Excel this year. And Stephen Bartlett was one of the speakers there. So I'm very familiar with him, but also a regular listen to Diaries of a CEO, of course, isn't it? I'm just trying to think of it.
That's
so
the one, yeah.
what of your favourite guests have been on his podcast, would you say, Eli?
Oh, so I mean, it's amazing that did you get to meet him, by the way?
I didn't. Some of the guys there did, but no, I didn't. I didn't make the effort to go and meet him. No. Should've.
Oh well, well, it would have been cool if you managed to get him on this as well. One of the best ones. Most of them are really good. Most of them are tremendous. Like there was one about Jordan Peterson, about how you fulfill your own meaning of life, but that's not really about business as much. I tried listening to the one about Richard Branson, but it was umming and ahhing too much. There was quite a few. I can't name any one particular one off my head, but most of them are amazing. Most as you know, he's an amazing interviewer.
Yes, certainly the Simon Sinek one was excellent. Dr. A.
Yeah, he's had on Simon several times, hasn't he? Three times.
James Clear was a guest at the same conference I just mentioned, but back in 2019, the writer of Atomic Habits. I'd certainly recommend that. Actually, no, sorry, have I got that wrong? That's the High Performance Podcast one. Sorry, I got the wrong podcast. I don't know whether you're familiar with High Performance Podcast as well, Eli?
Yeah, I've heard of that one. I've heard of James Clear, yes. I thought he came on Stephen Bartlett's one once. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't.
Maybe he's been on both, but he's definitely been on the High Performance Podcast, and I'd certainly recommend that one as well. Okay, so it's interesting you read Donald Trump's book several times. You said, what are the main takeaways from your perspective, then, Eli?
How not to be egotistical.
That's an interesting lesson from Donald Trump, isn't it?
Well, I'll look at him and say, is this a person you want to be? No. So
one of the things we use, I don't know whether you're familiar with DISC analysis. Are you familiar with that at all? It's a behavioral profiling communication tool. So it's DISC. So D is dominant, I is influential, S is supportive, and C is conscientious. So some of us are a complicated mix of all four. Some people are extreme versions of one, and Donald Trump is an extreme D. So not a lot of empathy there. Very intuitive, very decisive, very results orientated. All that stuff, which can be good, can be bad. But he's just an example of an extreme version of one of the profiles on that. So I tend to use him as an example of a high D person. Anyway, very good, very good. So
just to answer that question, what did I actually learn from it? I mean, there's quite a bit to learn. Whether as long as you see through who he really is, which is an egomaniac. I mean, he still might be good at business or good at policies or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, he is that person. What did I learned quite a bit from it. So one was, for example, never giving up. That is one of his main things that he always pushes, is never give up. No matter if you're about to lose, no matter if you're bankrupt, no matter what, just never give up, and you keep on going, you keep on trying. That's something quite inspirational. So that's quite a pleasure to learn. The other one is also about jumping on your opportunities, because you see his things and he jumps on so many opportunities. A lot of them, they fall through. I think he gives an example, like if you juggle, was that Gary Vaynerchuk? One of them said, if you juggle like 10 opportunities, most of them are going to fall, but one should go through. So that's one of them. And another one, there's just so much to learn from that book. Like I said, as long as he sees through the point that he is an egomaniac. It's a lot to learn for business.
Okay. Well, it's been great to hear your perspective on where you are and where you get your learning from, etc. Eli, one final question, if I may. If there are businesses looking for further LinkedIn expertise. What might you suggest as a next step, Eli?
So, I mean, you can go on my website on siteawl.com, siteawe.com, and then you can book a meeting through there where we'll sit down for half an hour and we'll discuss your social media needs for free. Yes.
For free. Okay, great.
Free,
good
yes.
to know.
100%, yes. And then we'll go from there.
Very good. Well, we will add the URL contacts into the LinkedIn post and the other areas that we post this interview onto, Eli. So that's been great. Thanks ever so much again for your time and your contribution, and all the very best with Siteawl.
Thank you, Kerry.